Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great creative start to your week. Today is a very exciting day because it is the day that our ultimate phone case embroidery session is ready for viewing. Oh, I'm so excited for you all to experience it and watch all the videos and make your ultimate phone case, not to mention your bonus cork key fob. So if you have already started, let me know in the chat, in the comments. I would love to know what you're thinking of it so far. It's very extensive. There's lots of videos to go through. You're going to learn how to create, of course, your ultimate phone case from start to finish in the hoop of your embroidery machine. And it's broken out into sections because you're going to create this in 3 hoopings, and then your key fob is an additional hooping as well. So the videos are broken out so you can do the first hooping, the second hooping, and the third hooping. And you can easily navigate back to those videos if and when you need to review that information. There's also bonus videos for using software, for personalizing it, for adding your optional straps. We've got a wristlet strap as well as a crossbody removable and adjustable strap version. Those are both made out of cork fabric to match your key fob that you create. And the cork fabric kind of gives it an elevated designery touch. Makes it a little bit, more designery, I guess, which is what I just said. You get the idea. I love sewing with cork fabric, and you're going to find a lot of information for how to sew with cork fabric. So kind of learning the best practices, needles and thread combination, you get the idea. Also, how to add machine embroidery to cork fabric, whether you are sewing on it directly or doing it in the hoop design like the key fob. So there's lots of techniques that you're going to learn that you can apply to other projects, not just this phone case. All right, so you can choose from about 7 or 8 different phone case sizes. There's a bonus extra large size if you've got one of those brand new phones that has the extra wide and long screen to it. You can choose that size and protect your phone as well as wear it crossbody style or, like I said, on a wristlet strap. So I hope you're enjoying it. You can still register for it because it's not a live event. It's completely on demand, self-guided, start anytime, and it never expires. So if you haven't registered for it yet, you can do so today. You can also grab up your kit. We have 2 colorways of this kit at sulky.com. We have a turquoise colorway and a red colorway. They both have 2 different fabrics, the exterior and the interior fabric, but they're both quilting cottons. So you can decide which fabric you want to display on the outside of your case and which fabric you want to use for the lining. So I hope you enjoy. I'm excited to see all of your phone cases. Be sure to be a part of our Sulky Stitch and Post Facebook group. It's a private group that you can ask to join. All you have to do is go to Sulky Stitch and Post on Facebook, click ask to join. We'll let you on in the group, and then you can upload your progress photos or your finished photos of your ultimate phone cases. I would love to see the cork key fobs that you create, what kind of monogram you decide to add or small motif. So everybody's is going to look different, and I can't wait to see the results. Really excited about this. And yes, kits are still available, $39.99. I think that price is only good until the end of October, and then it's going to go up to retail price. So make sure that you get it while it's on sale because that's an unbeatable kit price. I mean, $39.99, and you get everything you see here, the stabilizers, the flannel interlining, the 2 fabrics, the zipper, the cork fabric, the snaps, all of that hardware, only $39.99. So this is an amazing, amazing deal. I'm also really excited to tell you all about our 2024 New Year's Eve sew along with Sally Tomato. That's right. I'm ready to announce it. Can you believe it? I mean, it is October. New Year's Eve is just a few short months away, and we are taking pre-registrations, and pre-sales on the kit are happening at sallytomato.com. This is our 5th annual sew-along with Sally Tomato. Can you believe it? We have been doing this. This will be our 5th year. I mean, it's just an incredible event, so fun. It's a 4-hour-long sew-along. And no, you don't have to be there the entire time. If you have other engagements, that's totally fine. Just like with our other live events, once the event is over, it becomes an on-demand, start anytime video. So if you miss any of the sew-along on New Year's Eve, you can just go back into your library at sewingonline.sulky.com, locate the event, and you'll see the entire video there. So you can rewind, fast forward, pause, find the spot you need to review, and you have access to that at any time as well. So as you can see, this is the bag that we are going to create on New Year's Eve. It's called the Dutton bag. So for any of you who have enjoyed the Yellowstone series, that was really our inspiration behind this bag. And, you know, I thought I would just play a little video for you, which explains the inspiration, shows you the bag in greater detail, and you can get excited about this event as well and go ahead and register for it today. I linked to the registration page right in the description of today's post. So if you're not seeing all of the things I'm talking about today, click on See More, or it might just say More, depending on where you're watching from. And the whole description will pop out, and you'll find the link to go register early for New Year's Eve so you can take advantage of the pre-sale kit pricing and get on our email list for when we go live, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and play you this little video so you can learn a little bit more about the Dutton bag.
Howdy folks, I'd like to invite y'all to the 5th annual virtual New Year's Eve party hosted by Sally Tomato and Sulky. The theme of this year's event will be taking us on a trip out west. This isn't our first rodeo, so you can expect an afternoon full of creativity, camaraderie, and a finished project in your hands by the end of the event. We truly love planning this event each year and beginning a new year with sewing. This is also a great opportunity to sew along with myself and Ellen March. Throughout the night, you'll stand the chance to win amazing door prizes and also virtually hang out with sewing friends from around the world. During this live virtual event, you'll learn tips for installing bag hardware, how to sew a zipper closure, and also learn how to create freestanding lace embroidery as a feature on your bag with a faux leather accent border. The project we'll be making this year is a Western chic inspired pattern hack named Dutton, featuring our Jessica bag pattern. The pattern hack, which is exclusive to our event, includes stunning embroidery accented with a faux leather border. It also includes a stylish strap option embellished with grommets. The show Yellowstone and this year's trend of Western Gothic were the inspiration for this bag. This handbag has a sleek design, zipper top closure, shoulder strap with grommet details, and strap attachment addition. We have complete kits available in 2 colorways, which include the bag supplies, embroidery supplies, and a special goodie bag exclusive for this event. The classic cowgirl kit embraces earthy elegance of rich browns, perfect for a classic Western chic look. The Wild Cherry Chic kit stands out with a bold and stylish combination of cherry red and black faux leather, adding a touch of flair to your project. Now let me introduce you to the talented Ellen March, who is the Director of Content for Sulky of America, where she is going to share some more details about the exclusive embroidery designs created for this event.
Hi everyone, I'm Ellen March, Director of Content for Sulky of America. I've got my cowboy hat on, I'm sporting my denim, so I think I'm ready for our Western chic theme for this year's New Year's Eve sew-along with Sally Tomato. For the embellishment portion for this year's bag, I'm going to be showing you how to turn these into this. This is our freestanding lace overlay that's going to be part of the Dutton bag that we are creating together on New Year's Eve. When you register for the event, you will have immediate access to the event page where you will find a video of me taking you through the steps to create this piece. You can either create one piece or two, depending on your desired finished look. And I want to make sure that you have this ready to go and on hand when we start the sew along on New Year's Eve. This piece takes quite a while to stitch out, plus we need to block it and let it dry overnight. So you do need to create this piece ahead of time, and that's why you will have immediate access to a video taking you through all of those steps. On New Year's Eve, I'm also going to show you how to create a little set of freestanding lace charms. You can use these to further enhance your bag. We're so thankful to Designs by Baby Moon for providing these extra special designs for this special event. I think you're going to love the process and fall in love with freestanding lace. I look forward to seeing you there on New Year's Eve.
As you can see, this event is bound to spur your creativity and lasso in some serious fun. So dust off your boots, oil your sewing machine, and pre-order a kit so you can join in on an unforgettable afternoon of stitching and celebration. Register for the event today, linked in the description, and invite all of your pals too. I'll see you on New Year's Eve.
I mean, is that the cutest thing you've ever seen? I'm so excited to make this bag with you all on New Year's Eve. I hope that that was, what you needed to get into the spirit of this bag. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I have my little freestanding lace, one of them. You can make one panel or two. So if you just want lace on the front of your bag, that's totally fine. If you want lace on the front and back, you'll create two pieces of this, and everything is explained as soon as you register for the event. So you can get all the instructions for this today if you go ahead and register right now, and you can have your freestanding lace pieces waiting in the wings, ready to turn into that spectacular bag on New Year's Eve. Is everyone excited? I know a lot of your names from just seeing them throughout the years, and I know that you have some of you have joined us for every New Year's Eve. Can I get a show of hands? Who has been there for all of them? If you have some amazing bags to choose from, to go out on the town, to chill with, to travel with. I just love how we are able to come up with a totally new design and technique to share every single year on New Year's Eve. In my opinion, it's the best way to spend New Year's Eve. At the sewing machine, making something new. And a lot of you say that you just kind of sit and maybe have a drink of choice and watch the sew along. And then on the days that follow, New Year's Day, what have you, maybe you have some days off around the holidays, then you make your bag so that you can pause and rewind and fast forward when you need to. And then it's low stress. You don't feel like you need to keep up with us during those 4 hours. And then there are others who get it all done during the sew along. So it's just really, really fun to come together for this special event every year. And registrations are open now. So get after it, everybody. I'm so excited. All right. So the project that I want to share with you today is hanging behind me. It looks so small hanging behind me, but I wanted to display it in some way so that you could see it. It's actually a little bit bigger than placemat size, and it is a Casserole Hot Pad. So I thought with Thanksgiving coming up, and just the fall weather, everything's getting chillier. So we're getting into like casserole mode, you know? We're making the stuffing and the mashed potatoes, maybe a whole pan of brownies and lasagnas and all these great, comfort foods that we love to make in the fall months. So, what better project to make for ourselves than a casserole hot pad? I have been seeing these kind of trending on Instagram and social media. So I wanted to kind of put my spin on it because I thought to myself, it would be great to have a larger hot pad for these bigger dishes that we use so we don't have to use 2 and 3 little pot holders underneath them. If we make one big one and use some insulated batting, it's going to protect our surfaces from those hot dishes, and we only need one item, right? We don't need 2 or 3 little hot pads and things like that. Plus, we can do some pretty piecing, use up some fabrics in our stash, or get creative with some holiday or seasonally themed fabrics. So I'm going to show you how this is made. The other little touch that I added, and it's hanging right here, I added 2 little ties to the end of my hot pad. That way you can roll it up and tie the ties around it and store it really easily, because otherwise you would have to fold it or whatever to fit it into a drawer or something. That was the first thing that I thought of when I saw these. I thought, I've got to make some of them, but how am I going to store them? Well, this is a way you can store it. Just simply roll it up and put it in a cabinet or put it in a drawer. Much easier than if it's just this big piece, right? All right, so how is it done? As I mentioned, first off, you can grab up this free pattern at sulky.com. I went ahead and made a PDF of this entire process. You can grab it up as a free pattern, put it into your cart at sulky.com, go through the checkout process. It will say $0. And then once you've checked out, you will have access to this in your Sulky account. You can pull it up, print it, download it to your computer, however you would like to preserve it. It has all the instructions that you need to create it, which I'm going to go through as a, overview with you here today. But then you will have it, you can print it out, as I mentioned, however you like to look at the pattern on your tablet, phone, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. There's also full color how-to photos throughout. So that will also help guide you through the process of making this. This is another one of those where you're really learning the technique and you can apply it to so many different things. Of course, you don't need to use fall or Thanksgiving themed fabrics like I did. You could use holiday fabrics for any holiday. And you can apply this technique to make smaller pot holders or make a set of these or even make a placemat and omit the ties. So we're really learning a technique here that you can apply to tons of different projects. All right, so grab up the pattern first and foremost, get it for free, and we're going to assemble our materials. So as I mentioned, we're going to be working with insulated batting. One of the brands you can find out there is called Insulbright. The batting should come with instructions for you for how to work with it. Most importantly, if you can wash it, if it can take heat from an iron, these types of things. So make sure to consult those depending on the insulated batting that you purchase. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 layers of that as my interior of my hot pad. Why 2 layers? Just to make sure that my surfaces are extra protected against the hotness of the casserole when it comes out of the oven. So 2 layers of that. And then I've got an assortment of great fall themed fabrics. As I mentioned, you can choose the fabrics that you love. I actually found this fat quarter bundle and I thought it was just be perfect for this. So I set aside the fat quarter that's got the words on it. It says Thanksgiving, pumpkins, fall, really cute. I set that aside to use it as my backing, but I also fussy cut it and used the fussy cut square as my center focal point for the hot pad. So I'll show you that momentarily. So that was one of the fat quarters. For the other fat quarters, I cut them into strips. And you don't need the full fat quarter of strips. So you can really start cutting, you know, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 strips from the fat quarter of each print that you want to use. And I'm blanking right now how wide I cut them. I want to say maybe 2 inches wide. Maybe that's what I started with. It's all in the pattern though. Maybe more along the lines of 1.5 inches. Sorry that I can't remember that. It's in the pattern. So you need fabric strips because we're going to strip piece this in kind of like a log cabin formation, but we're going to do it all on the batting and save ourselves some time. You're also, of course, going to need some universal needles. The size of needle is going to depend on the thread thickness that you're using. So for piecing, I'm going to use 50 weight cotton thread. So I'm using a size 70-10 needle. And I've got 2 different thread colors here. One I'm going to use for the piecing so that it matches everything. One I'm going to use for the quilting. All right. So I'm going to take one of my insulated batting rectangles that's going inside of this hot pad. And I fold it in half lengthwise and fold it in half widthwise to find the center. Then, just so I can see those fold lines really clearly, I just marked them using my trusty fabric chalk. That way I can really see what's going on, make sure that my center focal point, my fussy cut center square, is right dead center. All right, so now that I've marked that, I'm going to fussy cut my fabric square. So I decided to center the word Thanksgiving in my 3-inch fabric square, and that's the center of my hot pad. All right, you can fussy cut a cute little pumpkin motif or whatever you want to showcase on your hot pad. So centering Thanksgiving, I cut out a 3-inch square, and then I reserved the rest of that fat quarter for the back of my hot pad. So just set that aside. So I decided to put my center fussy cut square on point on that insulated batting rectangle. So at this point, you want to have your marked batting rectangle on top and your remaining or your second batting rectangle on the bottom. And we're going to sew through all layers while we piece this thing together. So I'm going to take that fussy cut square and put a little KK2000 temporary spray adhesive on the wrong side of the fabric and center it on point on my batting. So you can match up all of the points with those lines that you transferred that denote the center of your batting. So now we've got our first piece on the hot pad. Now I'm going to take one of those fabric strips. It really looks like it's 2 inches wide, so that's what I'm going to go with. And we're going to place it wrong side down over the top of our fussy cut square. We're going to align one of the edges of the square with the long edge of our strip. We don't even have to cut it yet. So now I've got it right side down over the top of that fussy cut square. And I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam along that side edge, starting and stopping at the square edges. All right, so you see I've got a seam sewn and I've stopped where my square stops. Now I can take it from the machine and trim that strip so it's even with my fussy cut square. All right, so now I'm going to spray the wrong side of that strip with a little bit more KK2000 and just finger press it so that the right side is facing up. And when you finger press it, you don't even need to take it to an iron or anything. You are using that temporary spray adhesive to make sure that that seam allowance and that fabric is now right side up and secured to the batting. Now you're going to take another fabric strip and place it right side down over the two fabrics you just sewed together. And it doesn't really matter what side you add it on, whether it's the upper or lower edge of that piece. You just kind of want to work in a circular fashion. So keep rotating your batting, add another strip, sew it in the same way, and then trim. And then you will keep moving in this circular pattern to piece the top of your hot pad. So you can see I'm folding yet another strip to the right side with KK2000 attached to it, and it's really taking shape. So you could do the same exact method to create a regular or standard size hot pad as well if you want to have a little set, okay? You would just stop when you get it to the dimensions that you want and trim everything up. In this case, we're going to keep going, filling out our entire hot pad rectangle. And I believe this finishes at, I want to say 12 by 18 inches. So it's for those really large casserole dishes. All right. So now we have all of our strips pieced to our 2 layers of batting. So we can go ahead and square it up just a little bit. Or actually you could leave it and we'll square it up after we do our quilting. So now we're going to set that aside and we're going to create our fabric ties. So you'll cut 2 strips of fabric. I think these are actually at 3 inches. But again, I should probably just not tell you inches. Get the information from the pattern because I don't want to mislead you in any way. So we're going to take our strips that we have reserved for the ties. You could just pick one of those fat quarters to use that you like for the ties. Fold them in half lengthwise with wrong sides together and press. Then you will unfold and you're going to fold the long edges so they meet along that center fold line and press again. Then you're going to fold them in half lengthwise again, but this time you're going to enclose all of those raw edges and press again. Now, along one of the short ends, we need to open up the fold the short ends toward the wrong side, just on one end of each tie. Then fold it back up so that the ends are concealed, okay? Then we're going to top stitch the entire perimeter of both of the ties. So you'll have one short end that is raw and one short end that is folded. All right, just stitch the entire perimeter and now our ties are complete. So now we're going to make our quilt sandwich, okay? You're going to take your reserved backing fabric, place it wrong side up on your flat work surface, spray it with KK2000, and then you're going to take your your pieced hot pad top that has those 2 layers of batting attached to it, and you're going to place it right side up over your backing fabric and just smooth everything so that it's nice and flat and together. Now you can choose, here's the process of me doing the quilt sandwich. Now you can choose what kind of quilting you want to add to the piece, okay? This is a really great time to use a quilting design in your embroidery machine. Maybe purchase up an end-to-end or edge-to-edge, they're sometimes called, quilting design. Because since this is 12 by 18, you might only have to hoop it twice to have an all-over quilting design and let your machine do all the work. Better yet, if you have a magnetic embroidery hoop, if you have one of those monster magnetic embroidery hoops, you might even be able to hoop this entire hot pad and do one large-scale design in the hoop. Amazing. Or you can keep it simple like I did. So what I decided to do was I quilted a scant 1/4 inch away from the seam on both sides of the seam for all of the rows. So you can see I started a 1/4 inch inside of my fussy cut square, which sort of frames out the little Thanksgiving that I was trying to fussy cut. Then I went a 1/4 of an inch beyond that same seam and added another layer of quilting, and so forth for each sort of consecutive square or rectangle, as it were, on the hot pad. So here's what all of the quilting starts to look like. And I used the 50 weight cotton thread for the quilting as well. I just changed out the thread color for each consecutive line of quilting. So we have like a kind of light orangish color and then a darker yellowish mustardy color. And I just changed the thread color for each line of quilting so that it was kind of like an ombre almost look or something. Just so I could incorporate a little bit more color into the quilting on the hot pad. You could do free motion quilting here. You could do some pretty leaves. You could do some crosshatch quilting. It's really up to you. Have fun with it. It's a small project. Don't take it too seriously, you know? Just have fun with it. You can even experiment with some different types and weights of thread too. A 30 weight cotton blendables thread would be really pretty for the quilting. If you do go that route though, you are going to need a larger size needle because you need a larger needle eye to accommodate the thickness of that heavier weight thread. So if you go up to a 30 weight cotton, go up to a 90-14 size needle. All right. Now that we have the quilting done, now is where we can trim it up so that all of our edges are, you know, nice and even. All right. Okay, so once it's trimmed, we're going to baste the ends of our ties in place. So take your ties, take the raw ends of the ties and put them together and center them along one of the short ends of your hot pad. And I just used a Clover Wonder clip and clipped those in place for the time being. Then I took it over to my machine and basted the ends in place so that they wouldn't go anywhere. Now we can bind the hot pad. So what I did was I used one of the leftover fat quarters, created some binding. I just did cross grain binding. I didn't bother with bias cut binding because we're not going around any curved edges here, so you don't really need binding that's cut on the bias. So straight grain, cross grain binding is fine. So I made my own binding. I like to cut my binding strips 2 1/4 inches wide, and then I fold them in half lengthwise with wrong sides together, and I iron or press the entire length of binding after piecing it together. Then I sew my binding strip to the hot pad, starting on the wrong side of the hot pad. So I sewed it all the way around, mitering the corners as I reached them. And then you're going to wrap your binding around to the front and clip it in place. You'll notice that now our ties are sandwiched between the binding and the hot pad. So now they are one. They are one with each other. You also want to make sure that your ties don't get caught in any of your binding seams while you're sewing. So if you want to, you can pin them to the center of your hot pad while you're adding the binding, or just kind of be aware that they're there and keep them out of the way of the stitching. Now you can set your machine for a straight stitch or a decorative stitch, and you can sew your binding in place on the front of the hot pad. Again, making sure that your ties are out of the way of the stitching. You can also just hand sew your binding, along that binding fold if you prefer to hand sew your binding. All right, and then that's all there is to it. It's complete. It comes together so quickly and easily with this piecing method that you're doing through the binding layers. It's really fun to create something like this. It looks really impressive, like you took all this time to do all this intricate piecing, but you're really just sewing and trimming as you go. So it's super, super simple, has a really nice, pretty impact. You can put a lot of different fabric prints into this, have fun with it. It's a hot pad after all, you know? So make it to match your Thanksgiving decor, maybe your Halloween decor. Give these as gifts, you know? You can make a casserole or a cake for somebody and gift it with the hot pad, right? Just a little handmade touch to go along with a lasagna or a casserole of choice, really. So I wanted to show it in use. So I have these two little smaller casseroles. They're 7 inches, all right? So I could put them side by side on the hot pad. Isn't that great? Plenty of room around it. I can also use my big 9 by 13 inch casserole pan, and it fits perfectly on here. Edge to edge, everything is covered, and my surface is protected from the heat of that casserole dish. And then you simply just roll it up, tie the ties around it, put it in a little bow or a loose knot, and then you can store this really, really easily in your cabinet or in a drawer. Or maybe you have, you know, a drawer with your placemats and whatnot that you can store this in as well. You know, gift this with a couple of cute little fall themed spatulas. I just love it. And again, you can dive into your fabric stash, stitch up your, what am I trying to say? Cut your fabric strips, and feature lots of different fabric colors and prints and mix and match in here. It's just really, really simple to do. You can even piece the top and piece the bottom on your second piece of insulated batting and then kind of sandwich them together, give it a little extra quilting, and you'd have a double-sided casserole hot pad. So lots of different takes on this that I'm sure you will all come up with your own as well. All right, well, this was such a quick and easy project that comes together so fast. So I hope that it motivates you to get to your sewing room today and create something for the fall season. All right, well, be sure to head on over to the Ultimate Phone Case Embroidery Session. You can get started today. Start watching those videos right now. Create your ultimate phone case. And, you know, these can be used for a lot of things. You don't have to store your phone in here. It's really just a great little small scale crossbody bag. And the crossbody strap is completely removable if you want to create this and then throw it in a larger tote, maybe put your sunglasses inside or your readers. So lots of different sizes to choose from. You can have a coordinating set, one for your phone, one for your glasses. You get the idea. Be sure to grab up one of our Ultimate Phone Case kits while they are still on sale at $39.99. You can choose from turquoise or red, or why not grab them both? At $39.99, it's a heck of a deal. And while you're over there checking out the embroidery session, be sure to register for our 2024 New Year's Eve sew along with Sally Tomato. This is our 5th annual live streaming event that happens on New Year's Eve. If you missed my video at the beginning of today's episode, be sure to go back and give it a watch, or you can head on over to the registration page and check it out there as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's So What, and I look forward to sharing my Bali adventures with you next week, along with another fantastic project. Take care, everyone.